going by the actions of these political powers who are using native title as consent to do whatever they want on tribal land. And at the end of the day, when the rest of the Australian population asks them, where'd you get this permission? They say, we got it from a native title claim that these blackfellas, they've given us permission to go and destroy the land, just destroy it. Distinguish all of our rights as tribal peoples. And of late, I believe that a lot of the issues that have happened over the last 5 weeks since from the time Doubtful Creek started protesting, we had to find a platform to speak the voice of Githabul. And we found that through Shut the Gate and the Northern Rivers Alliance in regards to the protest or the protection of our lands out of Doubtful Creek. And it has been a wonderful platform for us because we've gone forth and we've put the government on notice in regards to our own self-determination as a tribal people. And they have to acknowledge this because they have a seat in the UN. And as part of the state of the UN, they have to come to terms with dialogue, with tribal elders and council. We as a tribal people have a long way to go in regards to how we stand as a tribal people and as we stand as tribal council. Because we've been always set in a state of captivity or in a state of want, state of management. Now, there's a lot of voices who were political voices here some 5 to 10 years ago, but have been silent because of political requirements or where they've been set up by political documents that have now silenced them as men or as women who have lost their respect because governments have interfered with eldership and have found a way to take a bribe, would you say? Yeah. And people have sold themselves out. The last 5 weeks to 6 weeks has been a very powerful and successful voice for us as people of the Githabul. I know that when I was standing out at Doubtful Creek, that I wasn't standing there because I was just a protester. No, I was standing there as an elder for the Githabul and with a mandate from the senior elders who have something like 40 years on me. I'm called to eldership ahead of my time. It's not something that I really wanted to have. If politics is not my game, I hate it because it can tarnish. And there are so many political traps that you have to walk through. But I believe if you walk in a truth that can't be shaken, that can't be moved, and you hold to that truth and walk in it, then where you stand with other people is going to be so important. I'm not a person who has anything. I've been homeless for 13 years. Yet I've seen people out there in greater need than me out at bloody Doubtful Creek. And they put aside all these things to stop a mining industry that was going to poison the water. And I believe that it was only just one battle. There's others to come. We've got a government right now that's in turmoil that may have to call an early election. I think we need to go further than calling an early election. I honestly believe that we need to call a referendum on us being a bloody country in our own rights. Out from the Crown, this is my honest opinion. As long as we are under the Crown, we are always going to be caught in a captive state, and we are never ever going to have a say or be able to maintain the safety of our waters, of our lands. But to take this country and to poison it is killing us straight off the bat. It kills us as a people because we're spirit connected, blood tie connected. I I cannot allow a government to do this to my people. I cannot allow the government to do this to anyone who is on my land. We are all spirit. We are spirit. And we know the law that is required of us. And we don't have to be black or white or red or blue to know this one. That we have a right to breathe properly. That's why we stood up at Doubtful Creek. That's why we're standing here today. You think this is just going to be about sacred items? This is only just the start of what they want to scrape out of this earth. It's time for the members of Parliament to take account. They come across and they've done their dirty deeds. Now that it hasn't happened for them, you're seeing them running for their rat holes. They're all jumping ship. Well, I don't believe that there should be another bloody election. There should be a caretaker government put in and a referendum taken by the Australian people to become a proper government, a proper nation in its own rights. I believe we're a better nation than bloody America. I believe we're a stronger nation than bloody England. We are one of the strongest and richest nations here in the country. And the thing is, we're not profiting from it. None of us are profiting. Not one here is profiting. The Crown's profiting. The Americans are profiting off of us. We have lost our identity as Australian people. Not just us blackfellas are losing our identity here. So many of our young are becoming Yankees. We have a voice that can say to the government, no more. Will you ever have this sort of power? No more. I'm saying it as a Githabul tribal man, as you are, an old man, to the government. No more will we take from you your shit that you want to give us. But as for those who are here, truly, we are the tribal people. Look, we are fighting mindsets that have been there in place for years. And it's hard to walk away from a religious structure when you find you've got nothing there to replace it with. We are people who always walk spirit way. Must have a spirit message. This is why we want our language back. We have our language. We have a school ready so that we can come to this one. But we've got a spirit. We've got a spirit over here that takes our voice straight to the ancestors. That's always been the way for us. And like most, we too are scales upon our eyes and we cannot see clearly. But we see the government clearly. I think everybody here has had the scales moved from their eyes and has seen the government for the dirty business that it is. Well, if we got our scales off and we're seeing things and we're not saying nothing and think we've just had one battle, come on, they're not going to give up. Get the message out. Get to whoever you want. Talk it up that the government has no power whatsoever to do mining on our country. And as a Githabul tribal man, I will fight to my last breath to make sure that this doesn't happen. You people, you surprised me. You restored a lot because, you know, I'm not one for used to being hanging around crowds or getting in amongst mob. I'm used to a silent person being on my own. But I've had some hope and faith restored in humanity too. I believe that we've all had that done to us over the last few months fighting with the mining industry. How close and how truly we are all have common values and morals and principles, and that we're all fighting just one fight. Raising our children, doing what's best for our families. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't ask for anything better than that. To do what's right by your family and by your blood. And I thank you for looking after my blood and helping me look after my lands. Truly, I thank you from the heart here. Help me with the car now, please. Thank you, honestly.